Nutrition Science is a one-credit science elective course that's offered over both semesters. In this course, we look at food. What makes up the food that we eat? How do our bodies use that food? And what makes something healthy or unhealthy for us to eat? Since one of our major goals in this class is to be healthy, we first start looking to see what does that mean to be healthy. Then we start looking at human digestion. How do we process the foods that we eat? How do we know if something is correct or incorrect in our own bodies? Then we move on to look at dietary guidelines and food labels. What are the different food groups? How did we come up with those? And how can you use those food labels to make smart choices in our everyday meals? Once we've learned about our different food labels and guidelines, we start looking at our macronutrients. For instance, carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? What are they made out of? What do they look like? How does our body use them? Why do we need them? In this unit, we make our own jellies and polysaccharide models with gummy bears. Our next macronutrient is fat. A lot of people think fat's just unhealthy, but we actually need quite a bit of it in our diet. We're going to look at why that is and what happens if you get too much of it in our diet. Our last macronutrient is proteins. Most of us know that meat is a wonderful source of protein and that they're vital for us to be healthy. But how can you satisfy those needs if you don't eat meat? We take a deep dive into that in our protein unit. And then we start looking at our micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. We only need a little bit of each of them, but they do tons of very vital tasks in our bodies. We look to see what happens if you don't get enough and if you get too much. In the spring, we also start to look at diets. What does it mean to weigh too much, too little? What are some healthy ways that we can adjust our weight to be a more healthy place? There's a lot of very bad information out there, and we look at why some of that stuff is so bad and how we can make good choices instead. By the end of this course, you'll have all the information and tools you need to answer that age-old question, what's for dinner? We hope to see you in the fall. Any questions should be emailed to Mrs. Barr at susanebarr@mcpsmd.org.